Welcome to lesson number 2 of the What is Ubuntu series of lectures. This lesson speaks to the fact that the world around us, including the systems and structures that we create to make our lives governable, revolve around our inner beliefs, assumptions, and values. The world is a reflection of our worldviews and our consciousness. But where do our worldviews come from? Our worldviews come from our culture, from ideas and stories about our origins, the meaning of life, and how life works. And how do we recognize our worldviews in society? We recognize our worldviews through the language, symbols, and images we use. We recognize them in our customs and norms and the systems and institutions that we create and build to live and manage our lives. Life as we see it is the reflection of our worldview and our consciousness. Our worldviews influence how we see ourselves and others. They shape our identities and they become our identities. They influence our everyday lives and our actions. Consciousness and worldviews are not fixed. It changes, develops, grows and fluctuates through stages and levels, along with our experiences of life and the environment that we find ourselves in. According to the widely respected integral theory, which is an attempt to place a wide diversity of theories and models of human consciousness and development into one single framework, there are 6 levels of consciousness that develop from egocentric, ethnocentric, sociocentric, world-centric, planet-centric, to cosmos-centric, which is all reality. The person of Ubuntu has developed care, concern, and respect for all people, regardless of race, color, sex, or creed, for our planet with all its beings, and for the greater cosmos. At this stage, the person has an holistic and integrated outlook on the world that is referred to as unity consciousness, the awareness of the inextricable, interrelated, interconnected, and interdependent reality of life, which is what Ubuntu is. Without sacrificing one's unique character and individual freedoms, with Ubuntu, we realize that we are part of a greater whole. In this lecture, we look at different aspects of worldviews that include our orientation to time, our orientation to nature, our orientation to human activity, and our relational orientation. And although it is not all clear-cut, measured over large groups of people, we notice distinct differences in approach to these aspects between Western societies and indigenous societies. With regards to orientation to time, Western societies tend to have a more linear view on time that places emphasis on the future, whereas traditional communities have a circular and a cyclical view on time and concentrate on the past and the present. When it comes to orientation to nature, future-oriented cultures emphasize dominance and control over the environment, a situation that is held in many Western societies. And people of the past and the present-oriented cultures, such as the indigenous African societies, tend to coexist and live in harmony with nature. When it comes to orientation to human activity, traditional Western culture places high value on doing over being, whereas indigenous societies, on the other hand, place emphasis on being and the being in becoming. And when it comes to relational orientation, the self is regarded as an independent entity in traditional Western cultures, whereas indigenous cultures define the self in terms of interrelatedness, which is one's relationship with others, such as family and community, as well as in terms of one's status within the group. Having said all of this, it is very important to note that this lesson is never about making any worldview better than the other. Ubuntu is always about the recognition of and respect for the other, rather than choosing between Western and indigenous worldviews. It is about balance and about learning from one another. We need to be aware of the ever and fast-changing world that we are living in. So let us have a look at some specific reasons why it is important to have different worldviews. Once ingrained, worldviews become culture and the uncontested norm and unexamined assumptions about how to get along with other people and with Mother Nature. Because worldviews contain and shape cultures, to work effectively across cultures requires at least some understanding of the soil, the worldviews from which cultures come. When we are unaware of other worldviews, we fail to grow in consciousness and understanding of the world and of who we really are. The imposition of one worldview onto a group of people can be destructive to a whole way of life, as we are seeing with a painful legacy of this perspective, as it is felt on many levels in South Africa and many other parts of the world today. Worldviews are vital resources for understanding and analyzing conflicts. When we look at the stories, rituals, myths, and metaphors used by a group, we learn about their identities, what matters to them, and how they make meaning of life. Worldviews and their meanings can be the ground from which new shared meanings emerge. These new shared meanings may arise as people co-create new stories, design new rituals, and find inclusive images, symbols, and representations for their meanings. In summary, when it comes to traditional African worldview, it posits a world in which everything is interrelated, interconnected, and interdependent, which is why these people strive to maintain connection, participation, and harmony. Because African proverbs maintain as well as challenge how a community understands itself, we love to also include a few in this lesson. Seeing is different than being told. To get lost is to learn the way. If you cut your chains, you free yourself. If you cut your roots, you die. In closing this lesson, you are invited to consider that although we are influenced by our environment, we do have the ability and the responsibility to change aspects of our lives, society, and culture that would be detrimental to our freedom and that would negatively impact our natural environment. And we invite you to become ever more open and to expand and deepen your view on the world, thereby developing your higher, wider, and deeper individual potential and your ways of being. Thank you.